day 7 of the Daily Arithmetic Challenge. So today's arithmetic is slightly different because you have got 6 arithmetic questions, but then because we've reached the end of the test paper, we're actually going to do 2 reasoning questions on the next slide instead of doing 10 arithmetic altogether. So as always, have a go at these 6. Once you've done, press play, have a go at the 2 reasoning questions on the next one, and then once you've done all of them, we'll go through the answers together. Right, okay, time to go through the answers. Let's have a look at the first one then. 1/4 divided by 2. So for this question, I would again use my KFC method. I always use that as soon as it's a division with fractions question. So what I've done first of all is I have turned my 2 whole ones into a fraction, which would be 2 over 1, basically saying I've got 2 full lots of 1 there. So my new fraction now says 1/4 divided by 2 over 1, and to find the answer for that one out, I would then use KFC. So I have kept the first fraction the same, so down below you can see I've kept 1/4 the same. I've flipped the operation symbol, so I've gone from a division to a multiplication, and then I've changed my last fraction, so I've gone from 2 over 1 to 1 over 2, which is a half, and then you just multiply them together like you would normally. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 4 is 8, so it would give you the answer 1/8. Looking at question 32, we've got 9 squared, subtract 36 divided by 9. So here we would use BIDMAS or BODMAS, depending on which one you call it, which is brackets, indices or orders, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So the first thing, I have no brackets in there, but I do have an indices or a power. So I've got 9 squared. Remember, not 9 times 2, it's 9 times 9. So I've boxed it up and underneath I've done 9 squared, which is 81. So the next thing I would then move on to, going down the order of BIDMAS or BODMAS, is division, which I also have got. I've got 36 divided by 9, so I have boxed up that method. I've done 36 divided by 9, which gives me the answer 4. So then all I do now is I do 81 subtract 4, gives me the answer 77. Number 33, 1 and 1/2 multiplied by 40. For this one, I've just partitioned the question. So I've done 1 times 40, which is 40, and then I've done a half times 40. Now remember, if you're doing a half times anything, it is literally just asking you to find half of that number. So half of 40 is 20, and then add the 2 together, which would give you the answer of 60. Moving on to 34, we've got 28% of 650. So I've broken that down. I've found 10% and 1%. So 10% by dividing it by 10, 1% by then dividing it by 10 one place further. I then multiplied 10% by 2 because I needed to know 20%, 2 lots of 10%. So I've got 130. And then I multiplied 1% by 8. Now again, although the 8 is technically in the wrong place for its place value, when you're multiplying a decimal number, it doesn't matter too much. And I've got the answer 52.0. And then I have added them together down here. I've got rid of the 0.0 on 52 because it's not needed. There's no value after the decimal point. So I have got the answer 182. Moving on to 35. So there's a couple of steps that I did for this one. The first thing I did was I turned them into improper fractions. So I got rid of the whole number. So for example, 4 and 2/3, I've got 4 whole lots of 3 and 2 more, which gives me 14. So I've got 14 over 3. And then for the next one, I've got 1 and 6/7. So I've got 1 whole lot of 7 and 6/7 remaining, which gives me 13/7 altogether. Then it is the issue here that I've now got is that I still can't do the subtraction because I've got 2 different denominators. I've got 3 and I've got 7. So what I did is I multiplied the 2 numbers together to give me the denominator 21. So the first number, the first fraction, 14 over 3, I've multiplied the 3 to get to 21. So what I've multiplied that by, which is 7, I have to multiply my top number by, so 14 multiplied by 7 to give me the number 98. And then for the second fraction, which is 13 over 7, to get that to have a denominator of 21, I have multiplied 7 by 3. So I've had to multiply my numerator by 3, and 13 lots of 3 is 39. And then I just do a straightforward subtraction, which you can see here at the side. Now I've still got an improper fraction. Now as the question was given to me as a mixed number, so a whole number and a fraction, I've then turned it back into a mixed number by finding out how many times 21 can go into 59, which is 2 whole times, with 17 remaining, so I would have 17 over 21 left. Number 36, we've got 8,827 divided by 97, and again I would write out those factors of multiples of 97. Now again, we don't expect you to know them off the top of your head, so if you physically need to add it on every time, that's absolutely fine. So I have done 97 into 8. Well, I can't do that. If I've got 8 marbles, I cannot share that out 97 times. So it's 0, and then I carry the 8 across, which gives me 88, which is still too small because it's smaller than 97. So I then crossed both of those out and then carried 88 across, which now gives me 882. So I needed to see how many times it would fit into 882. Well, it went in 9 times, but not exactly, because 9 times is 873. So I need to find out how many I would have left over. So if my original number was 882 and I've took away 873, I've still got 9 marbles remaining. I would then carry the 9 across, so back to our original division. I've now got the number 97, which I know if I have 97 marbles and I've got to share it out between 97 people, each person would get 1 marble. So the answer to that question is 91. First one, take 2 numbers that are equivalent to 1/4. So it's a process of elimination. The first one, 0.25, you should be able to spot straight away as an equivalent decimal. So that would be exactly equivalent to 1/4. 0.75 cannot be equivalent to 1/4. Actually, if we were making that their equivalent fraction, it would be 3/4. The one below, 25 over 100, means 25 out of 100. I could simplify that down and I could divide both of those by 25, which would mean that my numerator would be 1 and my denominator would be 4, because 25 goes into 100 4 times, which means that that is the second one, which is equivalent to 1/4. I definitely know that the next one can't be equivalent to 1/4 because it's 0.5, which is equivalent to a half. Okay, and the next question, number 8. Ken buys 3 large boxes and 2 small boxes of chocolates. Each large box has 48 chocolates and each small box has 24 chocolates. How many chocolates did Ken buy altogether? So the first thing I would have to do is find out how many chocolates came in my 3 large boxes by multiplying 48 by 3, which is giving me the answer of 144. I then need to find out how many boxes he got in the small boxes of chocolates, of which he bought 2. So it's 2 lots of 24, which is 48. Then I add my 2 totals together, so altogether Ken has bought 192 chocolates.